Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. All right, Impact Plus Turning Point last night, live on Impact Plus and on Fight TV. Um, it was an okay show. There was a couple matches that were pretty decent. They did it live. Typically, when Impact Wrestling does something live, you kind of know, hey, something might happen here. There was a couple big announcements. We'll get to those as we go on here. We had two pre-show matches. We had a tag match. We had Juice Robinson and David Finley versus Raheed Raju and Singh. They used to be together. I can't think of the faction name now. And then Raheed kind of went on his own in Impact and some stuff. Now him and Singh's back together. Raheed Raju, other part of the indie, he wrestled Hakeem Zane. I wish he would kind of keep one name throughout the indies. I like when they do that. It's easier to keep track of them. This is a decent little tag match. Finjuice has been kind of down lately because they've been on a losing streak, and Scott D'Amore went in and gave him this match, kind of helped build him up a little bit. They did get the victory. 3.25-star match. Then the other pre-show match was the Digital Media Championship that Impact created that they only use on their digital media platforms. Right now, champion is Jordynne Grace. She defended the title versus Chelsea Green. Of all these digital media matches, the tournament and everything, this is probably the best match of the group. Jordynne Grace is just an incredible wrestler. This title can be held by anyone. Though I mean, it can be intergender, it can be women, men, whatever. So Jordynne Grace did get the victory over Chelsea Green. I give it 2 3/4. Chelsea Green doesn't do a lot for me in the ring. But Jordynne Grace is one of the most talented wrestlers in the business. All right, the show starts. We have Ace Austin come out wearing his "I beat Kip Saban" shirt. About a month ago, he beat Kip Saban. Made a huge storyline on it. Him having a shirt that's constantly says that, trying to go Chris Sabin into another match. Sabin didn't want it. Finally, Sabin gave in. They have the match. This was probably match of the night. Started off hot. Yeah, just two guys that go out there and just literally start punch each other in the face when the match starts. Madman Fulton obviously gets involved. He's with Ace Austin. He tried to grab Chris Sabin at one point. Stopped him from doing some offensive moves, so Ace Austin get the. And then, there was a big. I'm trying to remember what the big spot was. The big spot there with him. He goes to get involved. The referee comes over and stops him. He ends up throwing the T-shirt to the I beat Chris Sabin shirt to Ace Austin. Ace Austin puts it on to kind of torment Sabin. Sabin just goes ballistic on him. Ends up getting kind of a weird, I don't know, it was like a roll up, but he gets a pinfall on him. 1, 2, 3, rips the shirt off of him. So Chris Sabin gets the victory, 3.5-star. Later on backstage, Sabin puts the shirt on and instead of it says I beat Chris Sabin, he put like duct tape over it and says I am. So now it says I am Chris Sabin. He's wearing it. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. They need to sell that shirt. That is awesome. Next up, this is actually one of the longer storylines I've had in Impact of recent. We had Eric Young and Doering, Violet by Design, going up against Heath and Rhino. As we know, Heath and Rhino for years were on WWE. They were the first ever WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Heath has been hurt, so Rhino was actually part of Violet by Design. Heath comes back. Rhino was like a shell of himself. He wasn't talking. He wasn't being himself. Heath was like, it's all because of Violet by Design and Eric Young. And so Heath, at the last show, they were going to have a tag match. It was Diener and Doering versus Heath and a mystery partner. The match starts. It was 2-on-1 for a while. Rhino comes out. Rhino helps Heath. And then Heath got the victory there. So it kind of brought that storyline a little bit more. Now Eric Young, who's also been hurt, he's cleared in ring action. So he's back now. So they had this match. And at one point, you had Heath get the hot tag. Eric Young is literally laying by the ropes on the apron. And you had Rhino looking at Eric Young, looking at Heath, like, who do I attack? I'm like, really? You gotta tease this when Eric Young's, when Heath is laying on the mat. He ended up goring Eric Young. But Eric Young actually ended up getting a pinfall on Rhino here. So I don't know if that kind of concludes the storyline here, or if they're going to keep this going at all. But Eric Young and Doering, Violent by Design, gets the victory. I gave it 2.5. I mean, it was an okay match. Next up was kind of a letdown to me. We scheduled to have Brian Myers in his learning tree, which is Ziggy Dice and VSK, which VSK's been on AEW, so he's not learning. Ziggy Dice has been in NWA and Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. But anyway, we had the learning tree, and then Sam Beal, who was part of the learning tree, broke away. He's had a couple matches. Well, the learning tree, Brian Myers, the professional wrestling Brian Myers, whatever he's called, VSK and Ziggy Dice beat down on Sam Beal. Rich Swann and Willie Mack came to his assistance. Rich Swann challenged Brian Myers, who formerly known as Kurt Hawkins, challenged him to a match at Turning Point. Supposedly he's injured, or he took something where he can't wrestle, or whatever is going on with that. So he puts his learning tree guy VSK in the match. So it's VSK versus Rich Swann. It's like we've gone circle around this. It's like almost like we're just going to continue. We had to figure a way to continue the storyline. So I think eventually we'll get Brian Myers and Rich Swann, but we'll see. I think this should lead to like we used Full Metal Mayhem here, but like I don't know, some type of cage match or something with Rich Swann, Willie Mack, and Sam Beal versus VSK, Ziggy Dice, and Brian Myers. I think it's where it's going to end. But Rich Swann got the victory here. I mean, it was an Impact match. It was nothing special. 2.5 star. Next up, we had a number 1 contender style match. We had W. Morrissey versus Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona, I'm glad to see what he's doing in the Indies. To me, he's done a little bit wrong when he's been in Game Changer. He thinks he's the best thing in the world. He's okay. Woo, woo, woo. W. Morrissey, from what his life has gone through, from when he was in WWE to get fired, the substance abuse, the recovery, getting into better shape. He's still a little stiff in the ring, but he's still a big man, so it's like you can kind of understand that to a point. But needing Moose to come out to help him beat Matt Cardona doesn't make any sense to me. But we'll find out later where it makes a little bit more sense. But yeah, this match went on. Again, just a typical match. You had Matt Cardona kind of doing some spots. You had Morrissey, the kind of the power guy. Morrissey gets the victory with the help of Moose. I give it 2 3/4 star. W. Morrissey is the number 1 contender to the Impact World title. Moose is the current world champion. He promised W. Morrissey a world title shot. So I'm thinking that's why he came out to get involved in the match, which, okay, I get it. Next up, we had the Knockout Tag Titles on the line. We had the champions Inspiration, formerly the Iconics. They debuted last month and literally won the titles like in 30 seconds. It was like real quick. So it's like, to me, it was like more or less, really? We were doing this? I mean, we put the titles on them. They're okay with the titles. But it's kind of like we don't give really a lot of build to, what are their names right now? Here we go. Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay. And so they go up against Decay, the former knockout tag title champions, Havok and Rosemary. This match was actually it was like a 10-minute match. There was really nothing special about it, honestly. It lasted like 10 minutes. I'm like, it's over already? It's somebody get this started. I give it 2.5. The Inspiration did get kind of a Healy type victory there. So we'll see where it goes with this team or what other team comes up. But I'm assuming they're going to leave the Impact Knockout titles on them for a while. Because I think that's why they brought the Inspiration in. This is kind of the perfect spot for them. Next up, we had the Impact X-Division Championship. I've been an Impact Wrestling fan since 2006. The X-Division title has always meant something special. That's always been your match of the night. That's always been the go-to workhorse title. That's always been, the argument on who has a better match when you had the X-Division title main event, Breaking Point. AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels. And then you have so many historic matches with the X title, and you have this triple threat match, which honestly on paper it actually doesn't look bad. Steve Maclin, who's got the power guy, who can do a little bit of diving out of the ropes. You have Laredo Kid, who's just crazy spot guy, spot monkey, spot fest. You have champion, X-Division champion Trey Miguel, again another spot guy. So you get two spot guys and a power guy. You're like, it's gonna be pretty good. The problem is a match like this, to really get going and get its feet under it, it's got to get more than 8 minutes and 53 seconds. This match got 8 minutes and 53 seconds. I mean, you had a cool spot where Laredo Kid did a 450 off the apron onto the floor. You had Trey Miguel do a dive over the end of the turnbuckle. That was pretty much it. A couple of spots here and there, but I mean, it's like, and Maclin did like a missile dive out through the ropes. But the ending of it, you had Maclin down, you had Laredo Kid down. You had Trey Miguel covering them both, hooking both leg on each one of them. Steve Maclin kicks out. Laredo Kid did not. So one kicked out, one did not. But the referee kept counting to 3 because Laredo Kid's shoulders were down, but Maclin's only one shoulder was down. So you had Maclin think it's done, we continue. You had Trey Miguel lost, did I win? Did I lose? Is the match over? What's going on? And you had the referee like it was all playing the whole time. It's like, what just happened here, guys? So because Laredo Kid's shoulders were still down, which technically when Maclin came up, it looked like Kid moved a little bit, but Laredo Kid. But Trey Miguel, still your X-Division champion. I give it 3 stars. It was short. That ending was funky. They would have done it right. This match could have been 4, but overall, if they let it go 15, 20 minutes and kept doing spots these guys should be doing. But it was a 3-star match. It was a good match. Next up, we had the knockout title on the line. We had challenger Mercedes Martinez versus his champion Mickie James, Hardcore Country. My problem with this match is both of these women have been released by WWE in 2021. Both of them, Mickie James was at WWE. She came to Impact Wrestling, made a name for herself there, went back and came back and forth. Mercedes Martinez, though, she got screwed by WWE. She was the star on the Indies, went to WWE, got kind of shanked, and sent back. So it's like the fact that both haven't been released, it's like, ugh. When you have Deonna Purrazzo, the Virtuosa, who's just phenomenal. Yeah, she was released too, but she was on the Indies, kind of like Mercedes Martinez. The knockout division used to be the strength of Impact Wrestling. Now it's kind of I don't say hindrance, but it's kind of just there. The good news is Tyler Backward is a free agent. Bring her back. Get Jordynne Grace back in the women's division. Get her away from that digital media title. Deonna Purrazzo and these two, you have a valid women's division there. Mickie James did get to retain here. This match was less than 10 minutes, 9:28. We need matches going more than 10 minutes, people. I know it's been a kind of a issue with WWE as well. They have the short matches all the time, but come on. We're going to do these monthly shows. You need longer matches. That's what I like about Impact Wrestling AEW Wrestling doing 4 shows a year. Yeah, those 4 shows are 4 hours, but you know going into it, I'm going to get quality pay-per-view matches that I'm paying good money for that are going to last a little bit, that are going to be good. You don't have just kind of weekly matches that this could be on a weekly show. You could have a Super Impact to put these matches on there. I mean, you could have had Impact Wrestling Thursday night on Access TV, Turning Point. But yeah, I know the AEW or Impact Wrestling's thing is once a month they do these Impact Plus specials. For only Impact Plus subscribers, they're also sold on Fight. But they do their big pay-per-views that are sold on Fight that are only not available on Impact Plus till 3 months. So it's kind of like you're still doing your monthly stuff, but you also do your quarterly stuff. This match was pretty okay. It was an okay match. 2 3/4 star. At the end of it, we had the Virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo come out and attack Mickie James. So obviously Mickie took the title from Deanna. Eventually Deanna will take the title back. Next up, we had the tag titles on the line. We had the Bullet Club. Gotta have some Bullet Club. We had Hikuleo and Chris Bay versus the Good Brothers, Doc Gallows and Karl Anderson. Once they Impact ended its relationship with AEW, these guys are kind of like there now. Used to, they were on Impact, on AEW, and on Impact. This match wasn't. I mean, it was okay. It lasted 7 minutes and 42 seconds. If it wasn't for the fact that Hikuleo and Chris Bay were two of the most talented guys in the Bullet Club, this match would have been just garbage. I ended up giving it 2 3/4 star. Good Brothers won. Then after this match was over, we had Josh Alexander come out. We're like, okay, why is Josh Alexander coming out? Former Impact World Champion. Hard work, perseverance paid off. He won the title at Bound for Glory, just in front of his family. His kid was in the ring. Moose comes in and cashes in his shot of glory and wins the title. But he comes out, starts cutting a promo. Jonah shows up. Jonah Rock, formerly in WWE terms known as Bronson Reed. Very talented big man who, in Australia before signing with AEW and on the Indies, was really coveted. He's here in Impact Wrestling. He's going by Jonah now, so Jonah Rock. Knowing how talented he is, I'm cool with this. I think this will be a good acquisition by Impact Wrestling. So look for big things there. If he's going to feud with Josh Alexander to start, I'm fine with that as well. They did announce at Throwdown. Was it Throwback Throwdown 2? It was Impact Plus special, December 18th. Knockouts Ultimate X match. What? Why? So it's the number 1 contender for the knockout title. So I'm assuming we're going to have the clipboard with the contract in the middle of the Ultimate X match. We're going to have 6 women doing, or whatever, how many women doing an Ultimate X match. Tell me Jordynne Grace is in this. Tell me Tyler Backward's in this. Tell me Tegan Knox is in this. Tell me some of these other women, but I don't think they are. That's the sad part, because I don't think their contract's up yet, or their clause is up yet. So yeah, this may not be good. But we'll see what comes of it. It could be good. Yeah, it could be bad, really bad. We'll see. All right, our main event: Full Metal Mayhem. I got a problem with this match. If you're gonna have a ladder involved in a match, make sure the title's above the ring. Don't have a pinfall. So kind of the ladder is kind of like pointless. But we had ladders, chairs, tables, cookie sheets, trash cans, the whole 9 yards. Candlesticks, they got involved. There was one spot where the table set up outside the ring. I'm like, okay, why is this table perfectly set up outside the ring? I mean, literally, the ring's here, the table's set like this. So, like the ring, table. Okay, somebody's going through that table pretty darn quick. Within like 10 minutes of the match, they're wrestling in the ring. Eddie did like a back body drop for Moose over the ring, right smacked out of the tail. That table just exploded. And then you had the typical ladder spots where you set the ladder in the ring, you put the ladder between the ring and between the ladder and the ropes. You can make a little ledge there, and somebody goes through it. We did that spot. Eddie took that spot. And then we did another one where Moose took that spot because Eddie tried to get the pin and Moose kicked out. You had one spot, I can't remember exactly what move it was, but Moose no-sold it and just jumped straight up. We're like, hey, at least sell stuff. Come on. We got to sell this stuff a little bit. But yeah, I mean, just a lot of no-sells, a lot of pointless spots because there was no climbing for the title. Then we had W. Morrissey come out and get involved. It's like, really? Because Moose helped you, you're helping him. Then Matt Cordova came down. W. Morrissey held Eddie Edwards for Moose to spear him. I mean, he speared the hell out of him. The referee obviously didn't want to count. He counted 1, 2, and then Matt Cordova came down and pulled the referee out. Cordova and Morrissey battled up the ramp. Eddie Edwards had a couple more offensive moves. Moose ended up getting the best of him. I give it 3.5. I like hardcore style. I like ladder matches, but matches like this where you're not claiming for a title, where the stuff is there to use and there's no blood because it wasn't believable to me. You had moves, no selling stuff. You had a couple bots. You had a couple spots like you even had Matt Director going, "What was that?" Yeah, like it was like a new creative movie. He said a couple times throughout the show. I'm like, no, it was a botch. But yeah, I mean, overall, Full Metal Mayhem, 31 minutes. It was a good match. I give it 3.5. It had some laggy points, some stuff you need to sell better. Other than that, it was a good show. I watched it, enjoyed it. If you want to check it out, you can check it out there on Impact Plus and/or Fight TV. That's going to wrap up the review of Impact Wrestling Turning Point. As always, thanks for watching our Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports channel content. Hey fans, if you are a CFL fan, check out Robert Sports Show, The Road to the Grey Cup. We have NFL weekly picks. We have NCAA college football weekly picks. We have countdown to the NASCAR Cup Series 2022 Daytona 500, the Great American Race, everyday countdown, profile each car number. Also a champion profile series on NASCAR. Have a great day.